your brain, you're in the nerds domain. Come on in, it's about to begin.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain podcast. I'm Matt, and this week I'm here with Shirley.
Hi.
Hello.
And Jesse.
Hello.
Hi.
And this week we're doing a Criterion Collection, and we watched It's a Hard Day's Night, the very first Beatles movie. Jesse, what is the Criterion Collection?
It is a collection of films that a group of individuals felt were really important. It's a fancy version of a director's cut. They're typically black and white. Some of them don't have words. This one did.
Okay,
it had music.
In all fairness, they're not typically black and white, but they do look at movies that are impactful to cinema, and a lot of those do tend to be older. So that does make them black and white. I agree with you on that. We've not watched a single movie that didn't have words.
Well, silent.
Nope. Even our silent movie had words.
Well, written words.
No. He's saying it.
Yeah,
What
but
did
there
he
was
say?
one with the...
yeah.
Safety first.
Yeah.
That's
Safety
fair.
first.
Okay, that one didn't have words. Okay. Nope, that's fair. I will give you that.
Most of them are foreign, because apparently only they can make important movies.
This one's foreign. So
Foreign.
I will accept that.
It's the British invasion, dude.
We watched A Hard Day's Night, which is the first Beatles movie. This is the first of 3, and I believe Yellow Submarine is animated. Is that correct, guys? I've never seen it. You guys haven't seen it either.
Neither have
I've
I.
never seen it.
Nope.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen
Nothing.
Help. Help is a little more wacky hijinks than this, which sounds weird because this was all wacky hijinks.
Yes, that's
But
all this was.
It's even wackier. So, A Hard Day's Night is this movie was made and put out right after the Ed Sullivan Show, where the Beatles really exploded onto the American scene. It showed a lot of the Beatles mania and the boys just trying to get away from the craziness and just enjoy themselves and have fun. The plot doesn't actually start, the intense plot doesn't start until an hour into the hour-and-a-half movie, when Ringo wanders off because Paul's grandfather, who is a villain and a mixer, and I'm quoting the movie there, a villain and a mixer, tells Ringo to go enjoy life instead of reading a book by himself. So, A Hard Day's Night. What did you guys think?
It was weird. It was honestly like watching a Monty Python movie where the skits weren't separated.
Yeah,
Kind of rolled one right into another. I lost track sometimes.
That is the it's the British sense of humor, which the Monty Python stuff is very much based in that, solidly based in the British sense of humor. So we're going to see a lot of similarities there. I can see where you're coming from with that. Shirley, what did you think of the movie? Oh, kind of a very, very bare bones overview.
Bare bones overview. I thought it was, it got interesting.
Okay. Yeah, Jesse, I can see what you're saying. So, honestly, there's no plot really to spoil. There just really isn't. We can talk about
plot,
it.
though.
There is a plot, but it's not like a heavy, deep plot that there's twists and turns at every...
Right.
The guys are on their way to a show in London and don't want to go and don't want to be bogged down, so they go out and play around and screw off and have fun instead of, doing what they're supposed to be doing. This is not, like a deep, thick plot that, we'll never see the end of the twists and turns.
No, the grandfather is the plot.
I guess he is, yeah. So this is not the grandfather that Paul lives with. This is his other grandfather, because everyone's entitled to 2. Literally, those are words from the movie.
And at least he's clean.
Yes, he is very clean, but he is a villain and... what was the other word?
Else?
A villain and I just said it. Good Lord, it just... A mixer. A villain and a mixer. And he does like to start a lot of trouble. A lot. I mean, the entire movie is essentially him starting trouble.
Yes, it is. And it's amazing. And he's from Ireland.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
There was a lot of, in his in that actor's mannerisms, there was a lot of silent movie mannerisms.
Yeah.
Which I'm not complaining about. This could have been a silent movie, except it was about the Beatles. There are about 50 Beatles songs in this. There's probably not that many, but they stop 8 or 9 times in an hour and a half to play a song, and then the last bit of the movie is like 4 or 5 songs in a row.
Yep.
And it's all just the music. I mean, it's like they stop the continual plot and just do like a little music video in the middle of it. So if you skip the music video, you still get the movie. Yeah,
and you're probably cutting out, I'd say, 30, 40 minutes of the movie. So it's like an extra long episode, maybe. Why do you guys think this is on the Criterion Collection?
It inspired
maybe
a lot
for the camera work.
Okay, so I like both of your answers. Jesse, let's start with you. What do you feel like this inspired?
The whole time watching this, I was thinking the Monkees.
Oh yeah, the Monkees are a rip off of the Beatles, and very much
look up which came first.
yeah, absolutely. Anything else you think this was a precursor to, Jesse?
Probably
you mentioned
more than it gives credit to.
Yeah, and you mentioned Monty Python. I think there's some similarities there. I can see that. So Shirley, you said the camera work?
Yeah.
You want to be more specific and go into depth on that?
Well, there was like a lot of long shots, and there was the scene where they were out in the middle of the field or whatever that was, playing around, and the camera definitely looked like it was on a tower or something.
It was actually on a helicopter.
Oh my God. Okay, so there. And then and then there was some scenes where it looked like, one of the guys had the camera and was walking around with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Shirley, you're right. You're both right. There's a lot of inspiration that comes out of this. I actually did a little bit of research to find out why this is on the Criterion Collection. One of the big reasons is modern filmmakers see this as the kind of proto-music video. This was the first time that people did things, and you can see a lot of that, like all those times they stop. They're essentially music videos within the movie, over and over and over again. And that style was grasped and taken when they started doing music videos for everything. And then the camera work, Shirley, you're absolutely right. The camera work, especially in that scene out in the field, was like very experimental, but it influenced a lot of what came from that and how people shot things. So yeah, those are both good reasons for why this is on the Criterion Collection.
Yeah, because up until this time, most of the camera work was, except for like the 007 movies, there were a couple before this, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
Because I'm just saying that I don't recall any like really tall air shots like this being filmed, but there's like, the cars and things like that. So maybe it was all set work.
Dr. No, From Russia with Love, and Goldfinger all came out before or at the same time as this.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of still camera uses. Yeah. There's a lot of movement in this one. Yeah, I
can. All the time. Like the camera's moving all the time.
And even when it slowed down, it still felt like a very hectic pace. And I know part of that is a British comedy timing. Like it can be hectic at times. But I also think a lot of it is the way the director handles it.
And that's another thing that I was wondering. Like, was this an actual directed film, or was this like the guys were like, we want to do this and we're going to do this, and No, there was an official script, and the director was pretty well known at the time.
Okay. This movie actually broke some records in its initial release because it was only released at one theater. It broke some records there and then went on to earn $11 million in the theaters, which at the time is a lot of money, especially for what is essentially a foreign film and a small budget foreign film. Shirley,
Yeah, it only costs like $500,000, didn't it, or something like that? Or
yeah, there's minimal work here as far as they just shot out on the street in a lot of situations. Even when they're in the train, it feels a little cramped, but it's still just on a train. So I will say I don't think there was any backlot use. Any backlots that were used because it was in the theater, on the train, in the hotel. Yeah, that was all just places they went. So a lot of location use. What do you guys think about the Beatles music? Do you guys actually enjoy that? Is that something that you're a fan of?
it's all right. I like it when it's on, but it's not something I seek out.
Okay.
This movie played just about every song that I like.
That's fair. And it played some songs that I had forgotten they had. Like, I forgot that they were Beatles songs. I knew that, it's something that was in the public consciousness in my mind, but I didn't realize it was a Beatles song. I've never been a huge Beatles fan. Shirley, you're so totally much more into music than I am. Are you into the Beatles at all?
God, I mean, I get crap for this all the time. It's, for me, loving music as much as I do, it's a weird conundrum because I have no idea why I don't love these guys. Like, I feel like I should love these guys, and I feel like I should love all the music that they've done. But I don't, like, other than 8 days a week, which I remember hearing while I was growing up, I don't, like, I have no attraction to them or their music. The only British band that I love is Duran Duran.
And that's Professor Elemental.
And Professor Elemental. Billy Idol.
I was about to ask, do you like this kind of music other than them? I mean, if you don't, that might be why you don't like them.
That's what I think. Like, you just brought up a good point, and I hadn't really thought of it. Maybe it's just the genre. Like, no, because I love the Monkees. Like, when that show was on TV, I watched it all the time. I was like there every Saturday morning.
Ironically, I can sing more of Monkees songs than I can the Beatles songs. That might be because we had like 12 records in the house for the record player, and like 5 of them were Monkees records. But I still stand by that. Like, the Monkees were a much better memory for me than the Beatles. I don't have a bad memory, but I have.
Are the Monkees British as well?
No.
The
Monkees are the first boy band. They were put together to make a TV show. Only one of them was an actual musician. They all learned to be musicians for the show and became a band because of the show.
Wow. That's seriously interesting.
And then when the show was canceled in '68, they continued to tour for 3 years and put out music.
Hold on. The show was... okay.
What?
No, I just thought that, like, it was an original band while I was growing up. I didn't
realize,
the show was canceled before I was born.
The band was put together in '65, right after this movie.
Okay.
The first episode aired in '66, and it was canceled in '68, and they continued to tour and put out records through '71. And then Peter Tork left the band. I'm not this big of a Monkees fan, guys. Just want you guys, listeners at home, I'm not like the uber Monkees fan. I literally read all this stuff in preparation for this podcast.
Okay, right.
So Peter Tork left, and that kind of broke the band up. Davy Jones died just a couple of years ago, but they still tour even now with replacement for Davy Jones.
Oh,
and Davy Jones was the only British guy.
Okay, so Davy Jones. Okay, yeah.
The rest were
Americans.
That. So,
wow.
But I love the Monkees. I love the Monkees.
That's because your parents had 5 records of them in the house.
Well, we also took the last train to Clarksville.
Oh. God, I love that. Take the last... Oh, God.
See, out of the two, for that genre of music, I do like the Beatles more. I mean, certain songs,
really?
Like Norwegian Wood's one of my favorites. They're all right.
Maybe this is something that I need to sit down with the Beatles on or sit down with the Beatles records and really get to know them and appreciate them. Because I don't disagree that they're important to music. They are.
Yeah.
But the stuff that we're getting out of this movie, I've watched Help as well. This movie and Help I've already seen. I've never seen Yellow Submarine, but their music changes a great deal between this and Help, and even more between Help and Yellow Submarine. So, like, they have an evolution in their music that I haven't experienced. I've seen, like, this is honestly pop rock, while later they get a little deeper with less poppy songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think they just start, I feel like drug use came into play at some point in time, but...
well, did you see... Wait, so did you see John Lennon snorting coke? He had the bottle of coke, awesome. He put it up to his nose like he was snorting coke. I kid you not. There are drug references in this movie.
But I
right
didn't
when
get
the guy
it
says,
now.
no funny business.
Because I was like... why is he sniffing that Coke bottle top?
Well, and the thing is,
that's how naive I am. That's ridiculous.
Well, but there was a lot of jokes like that they were... I understand it was a script, but a lot of it came off as, like, snappy comebacks. And I'm not sure if it was just the guys had, like, a little bit of free reign on what they were saying, or if they were just delivering it well. There were a couple of instances of some bad acting from George. But John and Paul did pretty well. Ringo did fine.
Yeah.
Ringo went on to be a much bigger star, in my mind, as the conductor.
Yeah, on Thomas the Train. Hello.
You mean on Shining Time Station, madam?
What?
He was the conductor on Shining Time Station, not Thomas the Train.
Am I getting those two mixed up?
No, Thomas the Train was on Shining Time Station, but Shining Time Station was where we got to see the conductor, as played by Ringo.
Oh my God, so it was Thomas the Train. Good night.
Anyway, no, I think that the three of them did fine. I think George had some lines that could have been better, but none of them are actors at this point in time. They're really not.
That's what was good about it. Yeah,
Ringo had just turned 24 like the week before they shot the movie.
Decent without having a whole train that.
Is that why they kept calling him an old guy and like he was in his midlife crisis or something?
Yeah. Well, and you saw they gave him a bunch of crap. Ringo was always kind of the outsider. I know way too much about the Beatles for never really enjoying their music. But Ringo was always kind of the outsider, and that's what they did, is they gave him a bunch of crap in a joking manner. But you get to see some of that here. And I don't know. I like the interplay. I like the directing. The grandpa was awkwardly funny. I'm sure he was hilarious for 1964, but it just didn't do it for me as much as it could have. But I think it was overall it was a pretty good. It was a good movie. There was no giant flaw other than such a light plot. It was a very, very light plot.
I like the producer guy, and he looks really familiar. So I'm just trying to who was that?
Yeah, he did. I don't know. I'm gonna go look. Jesse, what did you think?
I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's one of those kind of movies that it doesn't seem dated, other than the fact that it's black and white. I mean, you could show this to a person who has no idea what the Beatles are, and will come away with an idea of their music, their style, their comedy.
Mm-hmm. That's right, yeah.
I would like to know what they changed to make this a Criterion Collection movie. I don't know if they actually added anything or they just...
I think this one may just be that he was... or that this was in fact the Criterion version is the original version. Yeah. I don't think there's a difference.
They upgraded graphics and stuff like that supposedly.
Yeah, it is a much cleaner shot. I will say that it is a much cleaner shot than it originally was. So
I was like, that kind of took me by surprise a little bit how crisp the movie was.
Yeah, it has been digitally updated, which I appreciate because the original screens are a little crackly.
Yeah.
So, are we talking about Shake? Is that who you want to know who that is?
No, the producer guy at the end, part of the movie.
TV guy? The
yeah,
TV
the TV
guy? Okay, that I can look up. He's a TV director. That's Victor Spinetti.
Victor Spinetti.
And you know him from such things as Help, The Return of the Pink Panther, and The Little Prince.
Return of the Pink Panther, that's probably where I know him from.
Yeah, I have no idea. I
was like, gosh, that guy looks familiar. But
yeah.
I liked him because he was so anxiety-ridden. It was hilarious.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. Overall, I think it was a fine movie. I think it's something that's worth watching because you can see some of those setups for what music videos came from, and then also what is I'm looking for the kind of slapstick comedy we see in Monty Python as well. If somebody's
Hill?
Not Benny, not Ben, yeah, Benny Hill. What were you saying, Jesse?
It's a very surreal film.
It is. And there's a lot of running around, especially at the beginning. It takes a minute to get into anything.
Yeah, it does.
If you take out the long intro and the music videos, I really think you have like a 40-minute movie here.
Yeah.
It's only an hour and a half normally, so.
Right. I think that, I don't know, I rather liked the way they set up, because I knew going into the movie that this was going to be a movie about their music. So if you take the music out, then you kind of miss the point of it.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I can see some of that.
That's what the movie's like showcasing. It's showcasing their music and I don't remember at what point I sent you that text about, oh my gosh, this is just a movie about them running around to their music. Mm-hmm. But after that, it started to pick up more where you saw them in conversation. And it's like, these guys, I feel like this movie was about these guys just want to be able to make their music and be normal people. And I felt like I kind of started sympathizing with, you know, even at the end of the movie where they have to start their last quote unquote gig of the night, and they finally get to the stage, and it's just like, you know, all we want to do is just play our music and just be normal people. And I feel like that's what half of their hijinks was they just wanted to get out and be themselves and run around like normal guys, and then, you know, and then do what they love. And I think I've never ever seen any of their movies or watched any of their music videos. I feel like, you know, when everybody talks about how these guys were gelled very well together, and that's how they made their music. I mean, you can see that in this movie.
Yeah. Wow. So Richard Lester, who directed this, also directed Superman 2, Superman 3, and Help. Those are the big ones that sit out. He did the Three Musketeers and a couple other movies, but those are his big movies.
Which Three Musketeers?
The one from 1973.
Oh, okay.
With Raquel Welch.
Wow.
And Richard Chamberlain. And Oliver Reed. Yeah.
What? We need to watch that one.
I don't know if it's a Criterion Collection movie, but yeah. Okay, so if I'd like to get ratings from you guys if the listener is not a Beatles fan or a music fan, and then if they are a music fan. So Shirley, you want to go ahead and start?
Okay, yeah. If you are not a music and or / Beatles fan, I would not recommend this. yeah, it's probably going to be. It would probably be like a 1.5 star if you're not a music or Beatles fan. If you are a music fan, and you're curious about the Beatles and that genre of music, this is definitely something that is entertaining to watch with them running around. There is a definite storyline to follow once once it gets past the train, you start to get really into the story. And then if you're a Beatles fan, you've probably already watched this, so I don't need to recommend it. But I liked it well enough. I love music. This is the first time that I've watched it. It did take about an hour for me to actually get interested in the story. So I think I'm going to give this like a 2.5.
Okay. Jesse, what about you?
Well, I guess I liked it a little bit better. I feel if you're not a big music fan and not a big Beatles fan, I'd still suggest watching it or trying to, because this might be the thing that pushes you over the edge. Maybe you just didn't know you liked the Beatles, because I wasn't a huge fan of them, and I enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
If you are a music fan, there's no reason not to. So overall, that's about a 3. It's a badge. But again, I'm not a huge Beatles fan.
Okay, so you cut out a little bit there, but you give it a 3?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that if you're not a Beatles fan, I gotta agree with them. This may be something to skip. Even if you're not a Beatles fan, though, if this is something that piqued your interest at all, put it on in the background while you do something else. There's enough music in it that you won't miss out on story, and the plot is light enough that you're not missing out on a lot. If you are a Beatles fan, I think I have to agree with Shirley. You've probably already seen it. And if you haven't already seen it, then you're really not doing the Beatles fan thing right. You should get on top of that. All joking aside, though, I think it's a solid 2.5, 3 stars. It's not a bad movie. There's nothing wrong with it. These were not things that caught me. There are some jokes that are funny. There are some catchphrases there are some phrases from what I'm assuming is either 60s culture or British 60s culture that caught me a little off guard that I thought was funny. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Likely the last one, that it is both British and 60s. But they were fun, and I like that kind of stuff. If you're a historian for film, I do think this is important because it has such an impact on what we see in modern music videos. I think that to watch this with that critical eye, and again, we are not in any way, shape, or form film critics, but I think watching this with that kind of a critical eye and seeing the root of what we see today is important for learning that kind of thing. Overall, I think it's a perfectly fine movie, and it's definitely something worth checking out. And it just so happened to be on Hulu, so check that out while it's still there. It looks like they're rotating out movies because some of the stuff that we watched before isn't available anymore.
Really?
Our next Criterion Collection movie is Watership Down, as requested by Jesse. It is also part of the Criterion Collection. I will say before you watch that movie, prepare for a sad movie that might be a little emotionally raw. Yeah.
The movie is rated PG, but I have no idea what they were thinking when they did that.
Yeah, this is probably, I believe Watership Down was made before there was a PG-13 rating. I could be wrong on that, but that was made in 1978, so it is definitely before there was a PG-13 rating. This is an animated movie about bunny rabbits. Do not watch this with your children unless they are at least 16. Honestly, it is a very it has a lot of emotions that go into it, and it can be very impactful. So
yes.
People that liked Watership Down also liked movies called Plague Dogs and When the Wind Blows, which is two people hovered over on top of an atomic bomb. So I can only imagine how bad that's going to
be. In all fairness, who Watership Down wrote Plague Dogs.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Which still tells you
or Animal Farm, the 1954 animated Animal Farm.
Oh, that's an awesome movie and a great book.
So, I think that'll do us today for the Nerds Domain on the Criterion Collection. Go check out A Hard Day's Night. It's so good I forgot the name of it. Find out if you enjoy it too. If you have any comments or questions, you can always go over to the website and comment on this blog or on this podcast post. We'd be happy to engage in conversation with you. Even if I have to drag Shirley and Jesse over there by their ears and make them comment back, I will do so just for you, our fans. Otherwise, check out our Patreon and our newsletter like always. And thank you for listening, and we will talk to you guys real soon.